Tag Team Champions, SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. But the personality clash between the pair was always evident. Omega was disapproving when Page would imbibe immediately after title defenses. In August, Hangman was kicked out of the Elite and derided for his drunkenness when he prevented fellow members, the Young Bucks, from scoring a win over the team of best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. The next month, Omega stormed out of Daly's place, leaving Page behind, after they dropped the championship to FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. Each had reached the finals of a tournament to determine a number one contender for the AEW World Championship, so there was subtlety in the storytelling. While Omega and Page didn't hate each other, at least not yet, they didn't like each other either. Still, there was an air of sadness over such a talented team bringing it all to an end. Just prior to the match, fans at home, as well as the 1,000 COVID-tested spectators permitted to spread out at the open-air arena in Jacksonville, watched a bittersweet video montage of Omega and Page's finer moments, set to the hair metal strains of Cinderella's Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. Predictably, the clash was fast-paced and peppered with hard strikes and chops. Page delivered a springboard clothesline and series of power bombs, Omega a snap Hurricane Rana and moonsault. The cleaner had just put away Page with a one-winged angel when in Wilmington, the future Vice President Kamala Harris crossed the stage outside the Chase Center, exuberant and clad in white like the late Tim Mr. Wrestling Woods. The daughter of immigrants from India and Jamaica, Harris had spent much of the campaign denouncing what she viewed as Trump's insensitivity on race, negligence in addressing the coronavirus, and indifference to climate change. As horns honked approvingly from supporters who chose to insulate themselves from the virus by staying in their cars, she said, "When our very democracy was on the ballot in this election, with the very soul of America at stake and the world watching, you ushered in a new day for America. It's a new day. Yes, it is." At 8:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, while Orange Cassidy and John Silver of the Dark Order were struggling at the top of the turnbuckles in Florida, Biden jogged down the ramp to join his VP pick. Just 13 days shy of his 78th birthday, he was poised to become the oldest president in U.S. history, and the trot was an effort to showcase his vitality, the way Hulk Hogan still flexed his pythons even as his career was winding down. Placing the side of his hand across his brow, Biden squinted into the crowd and seemed to point to a number of familiar faces, conjuring up memories of a wrestler wearing a local sports jersey for a cheap pop. His speech continued through Cassidy's victory. By the time Cody Rhodes entered the ring, en route to an AEW TNT championship loss to Darby Allin, Biden was in the midst of a babyface promo, talking about reaching out to Republicans to end division and demonization. The Bible tells us to everything there is a season, a time to build, a time to reap, and a time to sow, and a time to heal. This is the time to heal in America. After the speech and a fireworks show that featured drones lighting up the sky with a map of the United States and the term president-elect, I turned off my television and focused solely on the broadcast of Full Gear. In the main event, Jon Moxley defended his AEW World Championship against his old running buddy from the independent circuit, Eddie Kingston. Like Biden, Mox had seemed destined to grab the gold earlier in his career, but just as Biden failed to win the Democratic nomination on 2 prior occasions, Moxley, as Dean Ambrose in WWE, took a secondary position while partners Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins each snared the top prize. For both Biden and Moxley, 2020 would be different. On the same day Biden turned the tide of the Democratic primary season by decisively defeating Bernie Sanders in South Carolina, Moxley dethroned Chris Jericho for the AEW World Championship at the Revolution pay-per-view. Now he was defending against Kingston, who, like Trump, seemed out of his element in the main event. Although he was unwavering in his determination, arguably cutting the best promos in the business in 2020, the Bronx-born brawler was coarse, spiteful, held personal grievances too close, and couldn't shut his big mouth. But he'd clawed his way past better-groomed and prettier contenders, and in this special I Quit match was primed.